I do something called the Examen of Conscience, where I go over my day, kind of like you're pressing play on a video recorder, and I kind of watch, like then I woke up and I got coffee, and I try to kind of not just make a list of places I saw God, but really kind of relive that day through imagination, through, oh yeah, I was really thirsty when I first woke up, and wow, that first cup of coffee was really good, and then those moments, sometimes they're very strange. Like there was a moment where I walked out of my house and there was a man screaming on the street, a big guy screaming at the sky like, murder or suicide, murder or suicide. And everybody was walking around him, and I started to walk around him, and then I just thought, this man is my brother, and he's suffering. And I just said, excuse me, like, isn't there like another door, or isn't there a third option other than murder or suicide? And he cocked his head at the sky and kind of seemed to be thinking. And so that was a moment that I might have just forgotten. But in that reflection, I remembered being a little afraid of him, and tried to be in that place and think that call to speak to him really was a call from God or the Holy Spirit, guiding me to try to connect with somebody who might have been in pain. So
great. So the Examen for you is, as it is for a lot of people, a prayer of noticing where God is. Is that right?
it is, and but it's also made me change the way I live, because I teach. I make my living not as a writer. I make my living not as a writer, but as an undistinguished, sort of school marm. And so I teach, and like everybody who teaches, I spent a lot of time complaining. It was just a habit. Like you would put up office hours and they would fill, and then you would have to add more hours to meet everybody, and my writing and every other thing. I'm so important, Jim. You probably didn't know this about me, but I have a lot of very important...
It's nice to know now.
It's nice to know. Very important things that I'm thinking I have to do, like get my mascara on and get my nails done, and things really essential to my life and death. And so I would complain about those students, but from doing the Examen, which I started doing, I guess, 15 years ago, almost 20, I noticed every single time somebody came into my office to show me their poems or their memoir, their novel, or just to talk about their lives or the life of a writer, to ask advice, God was always there. And so I just noticed in that savoring, even students who didn't particularly like me or who were angry at me would come in and complain about something I was doing in class. Even, when it was difficult, or I was trying to get them to do something they didn't want to do, or there was some conflict, or two students would be having a conflict, I would bring, even when it was, awkward, I noticed God was always there with me. So I doubled the number of office hours I do. So I see way more students than most people. And so then I started, like, I commute up to Syracuse and commute back to New York. I started having dinner with whoever came in the afternoon. I would take them to dinner, like make that a thing where I would have extra time with them. So it really has changed in that way by noticing where God is. I think I have to write my big, important books.
Right. I mean, what turns out to be important for you in your life are these students, too,
Right.
not whatever other things you think might be important.
Thank you for watching Faith in Focus. You can find more videos like this on our YouTube channel, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. To learn more about how you can have your story featured on the show, visit americamag.org/faithshow.